So we're going to move on to our second segment here. I'm really excited to have my next guest is Ernesto from the owner of Palm Coast Delivery Factory. And actually, he's been here before, right when he started his company about a year ago. I had him on because I just thought, what a neat concept, and there really wasn't anything like that in town. And I happened to run into him again the other day, and I decided, let's do a little follow-up here. Let's see what he's been up to. So welcome, Ernesto.
Hey.
How you been, buddy?
I was happy to bump into you, and definitely thank you for having me.
That's great. I'm glad to have you back. So let's kind of rewind here a little bit. Tell me a little bit about well, first of all, it's a delivery service, and we're going to go into deeper about all the services he has. But I wanted to know again, how did you get started with this, and how did you find this niche here in town?
Well, it's a lot of the larger cities already have these things in place. Palm Coast is supposed to be that, small little town, and really it's not. And I used a similar service, and when I came and finally, was ready to become a homeowner here in Palm Coast, and I needed something to do, something to focus on, and this was something that I think everybody would need, actually.
Well, it's funny how you bring up about how Palm Coast is really not a small town. It's kind of funny. We don't have traffic here like other cities have. So you
beg to differ.
Well, go to Miami and I'll show you traffic.
I know.
But you don't have the as much traffic, so we can get places faster here. But it's a lot of miles we're driving.
It is. I'm putting them on, man.
Yeah.
I tell you.
And for a quote unquote small town, we have a population that's just barely getting close to 100,000 here in Palm Coast. We have a lot of land and we have a lot of services. So we're not some little off the beat path where you don't have anything to go any services here. And there are needs that come up every now and again, and we're just not willing to go get it. We can't go get it, and I guess that's where you come in.
I've been getting everybody a little bit of everything. I brought a guy a rake from Ace Hardware.
So it's not just because when I saw your advertising the first time, I kind of thought it was just food service you were delivering.
I've been just trying to explain to people: send me to the post office, send me to the dry cleaners. I draw the line at furniture, only because it doesn't fit. Maybe down the road, if we continue to grow, maybe we'll go to that next level. But for the meantime, I'll bring you a can of tuna. I just want to be that guy that just bails you out. And if you're stuck, no car, God forbid, wheelchair, things of that nature, those are the people that I actually enjoy most.
Yeah, and we do, Palm Coast is such a great city, and it's not a retirement community by any means, but it is a great place to retire. So we do attract a lot of people that are in that stage of life. And as you age, some of these tasks can become, challenging.
I get a lot of out-of-town calls with, my parents live in Palm Coast. This is great. Can I pay you over the phone? And I'm like, sure. And especially for the holidays, I made a lot of people's days.
Wow, so I didn't even think about that dynamic. So you actually have clients that have a family here.
I got a guy that paid me $100 advance. I have a card, and every time I see you, I have a little thing, and I punch out a star, for example, and when you get to 10, I give you a free delivery fee. It's like a buyback, you know what I mean? Like just my way of saying, hey, thank you. And this guy said, well, okay, well, I'll tell you what, let me just give you $100 now. And when they call, the fee's paid for. All they got to do is cover the food, right? I'm like, yes.
Oh, that's a brilliant idea. It's like a prepaid card, prepaid service. Yeah. No, I don't
have to keep calling him now every time.
Sure.
And he said, as soon as we're at that 100, let me know, and we'll just set that up again.
Yeah, and I've a few times I've used it myself, and I'll tell you that
I use your story. I brought this guy a sign.
Yeah.
He says he's showing a home. He, because of his scheduling, he wasn't able to stop by his office. Next thing you know, my phone rings. I'm at his office. I'm at the property. Now the sign's in the ground.
It was
beautiful.
It was very liberating once you arrived. So when we first met a little over a year ago, you were just getting started. Now tell me where the company is, because I mean, you were just doing a few deliveries a day over back then, and tell me where it's gone.
Some of those numbers in the beginning are scary. I mean, creating your own paycheck, man, that's hard enough to find a job. I had to create one.
Did you leave a career of some sort?
You know what? I did tile and marble for over 25 years. I learned when I was about 19, and I was lucky enough to have 3 good bosses, and I worked for a lot of high-end people. Believe it or not, I worked for Trump for 10 years.
Get out of here.
Yeah, man. We did a few of his golf courses. I met him once. I know his son, Donnie Jr. We actually did a couple archery shooting. He came to the house. Real normal guy. It was real cool. But for the most part, coming here, doing tile in South Florida, things change all of a sudden. From $5-6 a foot for 12 by 12 straight pattern, here we are for $1.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wasn't a big fan of that, especially if you're really trying and really doing quality. It's
Sure. So you kind of you came from the big city to a small town, and you just couldn't charge the same prices up here.
I understand things change, but Mercedes seems to keep that price tag wherever they go. So,
and if and we were just, even back then, we're only just coming back in the housing market right now. So even up until a year ago, that was just the start of things, right? Things were just turning.
I think we're at 225 finally with tile in this neighborhood. So, hey. Whatever works.
So what are some of the is there kind of a crazy thing that you've been asked to go pick up for somebody?
Whipped cream, strawberries, and champagne.
Oh, really? Well, I wonder what that was for.
Wasn't for me, let me tell you. I got excited for a quick second, and then I realized it was just a couple of needs. So.
Have you ever had to turn down a delivery?
I think one time they wanted alcohol, and I always say in the text, proper ID is going to, please don't make me go through all this and I show up at your door and,
You're a minor, right?
And, sure, yes, no problem, and I'm like, okay. So I do it, and I did, and I went there, and it was a young kid. Not kid, but he's a young guy, with his hat. I just I didn't feel comfortable about it.
Mm-hmm.
I had those little lights where I could check the ID, so, if it illuminates, and it didn't. You know what? That light is really, really cool because that thing let me know that this was a fake ID.
Right.
And luckily enough, I do a lot of business with ABCs, so they were able to refund me, and it worked out.
Oh, good. That's great. And as far as but that is a service that you offer as long as you're of age. And
yeah, with the cigarettes and stuff like that, I'm not going to blow it just for a 6-pack.
Yeah. Well, now, one thing, what about some real necessities like groceries? I mean, these are one-off items and stuff like that. I mean, what is something?
I'm at Walgreens. I'm getting people's medicines. The guy sent me to the post office. I'm going to Home Depot. I'm getting paint. A guy was working on his car the other day, calls me up. He needed a part from the auto parts store. So instead of him, he was all, hands greasy. He was in the mix. I just pull up, hand him the part. Guy just hands me $10. He gave me $5 tip, and I drove away, and he just continued to work. So I've been a convenience for a lot of people. It's been cool.
That's great. Well, I'm really glad that it's the community has really embraced your business. We really
they've been great. Reviews have been great. I'm so thankful that these people even know my name, to be honest with you. And it's awesome to just be appreciated a little bit back. So it's cool. I thank everybody actually.
So, and it's growing. You're doing a lot more deliveries now. You've got reviews out there.
The biggest thing that happened. You ready for this one?
Tell me.
We are franchising on March 1st. March. I don't have the exact date, but long story short, we met with some people. They're opening up the delivery factory, and it'll be the Fort Lauderdale.
That's incredible. From just a little idea.
I remember my logo was sitting with Kim from Curly Tails, and she's, I'm like, hey, can you put that car in a wheelie? And she's so great. Next thing you know, the car's on a wheelie. I'm like, can we get smoke shooting out of that thing? And she did it. And now to know that's people I don't know in Fort Lauderdale are going to be wearing that T-shirt.
Isn't that cool?
You know what? It's beyond cool.
This is great. This is the kind of stories that we love here on the show, and we're happy this is happening here in Flagler County. It's just a great example that you can succeed here, and you just have to have a good idea, a good business plan, and the will to execute it. And it looks like you've done that.
It's been a hard year. It's not easy, and so far so good. Thank God. Thank the people around me. People like yourself. Actually having me here. Everything that I see and helping people do is a blessing for me. So.
Amen. That's great. So we're going to need to wrap up here in just a few minutes here. So can you tell the audience, what does it cost for a delivery?
Okay, it's very simple, guys. Palm Coast area, it's $10. If you want to tip the driver, that's always appreciated.
And that's pick up, drop off.
Yeah, we go to McDonald's, we go to Chick-fil-A, send me to Cracker Barrel, Olive Garden, ABC's exactly. When I go over the bridge, Flagler, when I go past 100 and I go into Bunnell, it's an extra $5, $15, but it's like a 40-minute round trip. It's not like.
And how can they get a hold of you, Ernesto?
Very simply, call or text area code 386-517-4018. We're also on Facebook. And I do have a new website that just got made. It's on my Facebook, guys.
And if you Google the name, I'm sure it will pop up.
Just go to Facebook. There's a little link that says click website. Done deal.
Ernesto, thanks for coming back and sharing your story. It was great having you on the show.
And Ormond, we're coming. Don't worry about it.
Look out, Ormond. All right, everybody. That's our show for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I look forward to seeing you next week. You've been listening to Will Furry's Real Estate and Lifestyle Show on WNZF.